Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to give it another minute while people filter in. As you will have seen, we are recording this session, so hopefully that's okay with anyone. If you have any questions throughout the session, there's plenty of time for questions at the end, but feel free to pop them in the Q&A box at the bottom, and we'll get to those either throughout or at the end. So yeah, we'll start in just 1 minute. Okay, so I think we're going to make a start now. So thank you all for joining quite promptly. And as you can probably see from the screen, this session is going to be talking about the Apprenticeship Summer School. So if you came to the summer school session on Tuesday, then apologies, but the first slide or two are going to be rather repetitive. But yeah, hopefully you will get a good understanding of what the Apprenticeship Summer School is by the end of it. And I will try and be as quick as possible so you can get some time back. So who are we at the Sutton Trust? We champion social mobility, and we do this through our agenda setting research, which identifies kind of root causes for low social mobility and promotes solutions through education and employment. We do it through our policy work, so we try and keep social mobility at the top of the agenda, and lots of our practical and evidence-based recommendations have influenced change in these spaces. And then the area that you're probably most likely to be aware of is our programmatic work. And through our programs, we support over 6,000 high attaining young people each year from less advantaged backgrounds. And we support these young people to access leading universities, apprenticeships and careers and help them to raise their aspirations. So as you can see on the screen there, we've got five key priority areas. And obviously today we're touching on apprenticeships, which is one of those areas. So if we could just move on to the next slide. Thanks, Harry. These are just a few kind of stark reminders of why we exist and why we do the work that we do. So we know that social mobility in Britain is low and that the educational opportunities and life chances of a child born today are really strongly linked to their parents' socioeconomic background. And that's exactly why we exist. And some of these figures show you why we do the work that we do. So if we just move on, please, Harry. These are some key stats that we have looked at through our research in the last few years. So we have spent more and more of our focus time on apprenticeships recently. And through a piece of research we did specifically looking at degree apprenticeships and who was accessing those opportunities, we found that just 13% of degree apprentices came from neighbourhoods in the bottom fifth of deprivation. So lots of work to be done on this. And then more recently, we've done a piece of research looking at apprenticeship outreach, and we found that 1 in 4 young apprentices found that apprenticeship application process quite difficult to navigate, which is no surprise at all. It's a really complex space, it's difficult, it's time consuming, and it's probably like nothing they've ever done before. And then the third stat there is that 14% of apprentices aged 16 to 24 didn't receive any information about apprenticeships before going into their apprenticeship. So they're just some of the key reasons that we know there's still a need for the Apprenticeship Summer School and why we started to implement this programme 3 years ago. So what is the Apprenticeship Summer School? Really excitedly, even though this is the third year we're running it, it will be the first year that we're delivering it face to face, which I personally am really excited about. I'm a bit fed up of being behind a screen, so excited to get back to in-person delivery. It's a 3-day residential programme and it's delivered by ourselves alongside leading employers in this space. And this year it will be delivered at the University of Warwick. So the point of the Apprenticeship Summer School is to give students a good opportunity to really delve into apprenticeships and get an intense kind of understanding within those 3 days to explore what apprenticeships are, how to access them, where to find them, what time of year should they be applying, how competitive are they, and everything in between. So they'll get to have a good understanding of what apprenticeships are, whether they're right for them. They'll meet current apprentices, be able to ask them any burning questions they have. They'll get to meet plenty of employers and do quite hands-on interactive sessions with those employers. So that won't just be meeting those employers and hearing who they are, but they'll be kind of gaining those skills to make sure they know what employers are looking for, know how to kind of do mock interviews, video interviews, psychometric testing, and everything like that. So that's a real quick overview of what the Apprenticeship Summer School is. And this is just an example of which employers we work side by side with on the programme. So these are the employers that supported us quite heavily last year. So unlike some of our other programmes, this is across sector. So we have employers from lots of different areas. And someone like Co-op, for example, has a whole range of apprenticeships covering things from HR to legal, retail, and kind of everything in between. So even within those employers, there's many, many different opportunities and apprenticeships that they'll come and talk to students about. So most importantly, I guess, is when is the Apprenticeship Summer School? And unlike some of our other programmes that kind of go throughout the summer or have lots of different dates depending on which university they're going to, there is only one Apprenticeship Summer School, and the dates are key. They have to be available to attend the Tuesday, Wednesday and the Thursday, and that's the 12th to the 14th of July. So yeah, students really do need to think about whether they can commit to those 3 days before making their application to the programme. And what other support do students get? So students get access to Sutton Trust Online as part of the Apprenticeship Summer School. And this platform is a relatively new digital platform of ours, and it was created to kind of empower young people with the knowledge, skills and confidence to achieve their goals. So they do that by being able to explore their choices, by being able to apply to university or apprenticeships and gathering all of that information they might need at these stages. We then have resources and sessions for them to prepare for university or apprenticeships and then succeeding whilst they're there. So as well as having lots of resources and support available for them online, there's also a Oscar platform, which is a personal statement builder. They'll have webinars, they'll have sessions hosted by different people, universities, employers. They'll have opportunities to meet with alums and hear about their experiences, and lots of other opportunities on that platform. So it's a really good opportunity for them to engage online as well as after their residential. So why should students take part in the programme? Students, I guess, personally should take part in the programme if they're considering whether an apprenticeship might be for them. They don't need to be certain that this is the route for them. They might just be thinking, I don't know if university is for me. What else should I kind of look at? What should I explore? It's a 3-day programme, so it's not, it's not a huge amount of their time throughout the summer. It gives them a chance to meet current apprentices and ask them questions that they might not want to ask kind of teachers or employers. Things like, is there a social life? What's the money like? How do you balance that work study side of things? They get to meet employers and talk to them about what they look for in their apprentices, so really know what to kind of put on their application, understand processes they might use, so practicing things like mock interviews or doing a video interview with employers is really crucial to them being able to successfully get an apprenticeship. It gives them the chance to mix with 120 other students across those 3 days who have also thought maybe an apprenticeship is for me. So they'll be surrounded by similar young people who are exploring that option as well. And they'll get to take part in many social activities across those evenings and throughout the day. And hopefully this gives them a chance to increase their confidence. So yeah, that's just a quick overview, I guess, of why they should, or maybe why they want to take part in the programme. The next slide is just a couple of quotes that students have given us feedback over the last 2 years. I obviously won't read those out, they're there for you to read, but just to kind of make note that I guess the last 2 years have been digital delivery. So these are slightly different experiences to what students might get this year. Hopefully this year they'll have an even more rounded experience because they'll get that 3-day face-to-face delivery, and then they'll get access to STO as well. So they're kind of getting the whole package, which hopefully is a really good experience for them. So who can apply to the programme? And apologies if you were here on Tuesday, this is exactly the same. So we have our kind of mandatory criteria. Students have to be in year 12 in England and Wales, year 13 in Northern Ireland and S5 in Scotland. And secondly, they need to attend and have always attended a state school. So after they've met those two criteria, there's a whole other range of criteria that we look at. So that might be grade requirements. So we're looking at 5 GCSEs at grades 9 to 6, and we look for a minimum of 2 of those being at 9 to 7. We then look at other things, kind of social mobility criteria, things such as, would they be the first in their generation to go on to gain a kind of degree or degree level qualification? Have they ever been eligible for free school meals whilst at secondary school? Whether they have been looked after or are currently in care, and a couple of other things around things like postcode and their backgrounds and schools context. So they're the kind of criteria that we look for, and the more of those criteria that students meet, then the more likely they are to receive a place on the programme. And then there's a key bit of information at the bottom there, which is something that we're offering from this year, that all students that apply to either a university summer school or the apprenticeship summer school, if they meet our grade threshold and another one of our criteria, then they'll be offered a place on the STO core programme. So that's the Sutton Trust Online platform that I was talking about previously. So once students know that they are eligible for the programme, then what they need to do is complete an application form, which they can find on our website. It's relatively straightforward and easy to follow, and they need to do this by Wednesday, the 9th of March. And unfortunately, we don't take any late applications. So most of our programmes are always very oversubscribed. So they have plenty of time. They've got now until March to make that application. So yes, the sooner they do that, the better, but also they do have plenty of time to do that. And then the timeline after that is that they will nominate either yourselves or a different teacher to verify their application. And as you can see, the timeline there is the 14th of March. And then we will let the students on the Apprenticeship Summer School know by May whether they've got a place on the programme. And then you can see that they'll get access to STO, and then they will attend the summer school. And then after that, they are invited to become part of our alumni community. So that's just a kind of whistle-stop tour of why we have developed the apprenticeship programme, why we think there's a need for it, what it kind of covers, when it is, and who's able to apply to the programme. There's spaces for up to 120 students. So we're hoping that not too many people would be disappointed that they can't attend the residential. And lastly, just there before I take any questions, is that there is a webinar next week for students. So that will cover both all of our UK summer schools and also apprenticeship summer schools. So if students want to sign up to that, then by all means they can. That's on our website for them. I'll also pop the link in the chat so that you can pass that to any students. But if anyone's got any questions, then please do pop in the Q&A at the moment. I had one question flagged to me, and a very good question that I should have mentioned already. It's a free programme, so we cover all costs for students. That includes their travel, their accommodation, food whilst they're on the programme. So yeah, it is a free to access programme, and we will cover those costs. I can't see any other questions coming through. Harry, I don't know if I have missed anything.
No, I think
no.
There's none coming through at the minute.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was extremely quick. If we've got no other questions, I'm just going to pop the link for you for students to sign up to the webinar next week in the chat. So that's there for you if you want to share that with any students. But if you think of anything after this, then please do get in touch with us. We're more than happy to talk that through. Yeah, absolutely, can confirm the grades. So that's also on our website if students do want to go and check that out for themselves, but they need to have achieved at least 5 GCSEs at grades 9 to 6. So that's on the old system, it's A star to B, including English and maths, and a minimum of 2. We look for these to be at grades 9 to 7, or 5 A to B grades at National 5, including 1A. But yeah, that is on our website if you want to kind of have a look at that written down. I think that is all the questions that we've got. So yeah, please do get in touch with us afterwards if you think of anything, oh, I should have asked that. Hopefully all that information is on our website, and applications have started to come in for that, which is fantastic. and we look forward to seeing some more of our students apply. So yeah, thank you all very much for giving up the time to join the session, and look forward to hearing from you in due course.